You think you know someone. You build a life, a home, a future. Then, a single notification on a family iPad at 2 a.m. shows you a side of them you never knew existed. A heart rate of 145 BPM across town. This is the story of how a fitness tracker didn't just record a workout. It completely obliterated my marriage. It was a Tuesday, or maybe a Wednesday. It's funny how the catastrophic moments in your life tend to blur the mundane details around them. All I know is that it was late, probably close to midnight. I couldn't sleep. Aria, my wife, was supposedly at a work dinner that ran super late with her team. This had been happening more and more often over the past few months. New project, big promotion on the line. I was proud of her. I was supportive. I was a damn fool. I was lying in bed, the empty space next to me feeling colder than usual. I gave up on sleep, grabbed the family iPad from the nightstand, and decided to numb my brain with some dumb action movie on Netflix. The house was dead quiet. The kind of quiet that's only possible when you're the only one in it. I unlocked the screen, and that's when I saw it. It wasn't a text message or an email. It was a banner notification from the Apple Health app. It was small, white text on a black background, and it might as well have been a death sentence. It read, "Aria just completed a 32-minute workout." My first thought was, confusion. A workout. It was 11:48 p.m. She was at a client dinner in a downtown steakhouse. Was she walking briskly to her car? Did the app glitch? I was about to swipe it away, dismiss it as one of those weird tech hiccups, but my thumb hovered over the screen. Something in my gut, a cold little knot of dread, told me to open it. And I did. I tapped on the notification. The health app opened to Aria's dashboard. We'd synced her fitness watch to the family iPad ages ago, mostly so she could track her long-run stats on a bigger screen. We thought it was a cool, modern, coupley thing to do. The irony is so thick now I could choke on it. The screen glowed in the dark bedroom, painting everything in a sterile, clinical light. I saw the usual stuff first. Steps for the day, calories burned, a neat little circle for her activity goal. And then I saw the heart rate data. It was a graph, a simple line spiking up and down over the course of the day. I scrolled to the right to the evening hours. 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Her heart rate was normal, around 70-80 beats per minute. The client dinner. Then at 10:17 p.m. it started to climb. 90, 100, 110. It peaked at 11:31 p.m., 142 BPM. For over half an hour, her heart rate was in the high-intensity cardio zone. The zone she usually only hit during a grueling spin class or a 5-mile run. What kind of work dinner gets your heart racing like that? My own heart was starting to pound in my chest, a sick, heavy thud that matched the dread coiling in my stomach. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she got into a heated argument with her boss? Maybe she had a panic attack? But then my eyes drifted a little lower on the screen, to a piece of data I'd never even paid attention to before. GPS data. The workout had been automatically logged and tagged with a location. It wasn't the address of the steakhouse downtown. It wasn't even in the same zip code. It was an address on the other side of the city, a place called Oak Creek Lane. A quiet suburban street I'd never heard of. My mind was racing, trying to build a narrative that made sense. Maybe she went to a friend's house after dinner? Maybe it was a 24-hour gym? I copied the address and pasted it into Google Maps. My finger trembled as I hit search. The satellite image loaded. It wasn't a gym, it wasn't a park, it was a house. A 2-story colonial with a neat little lawn and a dark blue sedan in the driveway. A family home. And in that moment, lying in the bed we shared, looking at a glowing screen, the world as I knew it fractured. The rationalizations fell away, one by one, like dead leaves. A 2 a.m. workout. An elevated heart rate for 30 minutes. A stranger's house across town. You don't need to be a detective to connect those dots. You just need to be a husband who's been fed a few too many stories about late nights at the office. Have you ever felt that? That sudden, gut-wrenching realization that everything you believe to be true is a lie? It's a physical sensation, a A cold dread that starts in your stomach and spreads through your veins until you feel like you're made of ice. Drop a comment below if you've ever been in a situation like this. I honestly need to know I'm not alone in feeling this. This specific kind of crazy. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, in the dark, staring at the screen, watching the location pin on a map that marked the exact spot where my marriage was dying. I thought the data was the worst part. The cold, hard, undeniable proof. I was wrong. So wrong. The worst part was what happened next. The next morning was surreal. Arya came home around 3 a.m., slipping into bed as quietly as she could. She probably thought I was asleep. She smelled faintly of wine and a perfume that wasn't hers. I lay there, rigid, my back to her, feigning sleep, my mind screaming. Every instinct told me to roll over, shove the iPad in her face, and demand an explanation. But what would that accomplish? She'd lie. She'd gaslight me. She'd call me crazy and paranoid for looking at her health data. I knew her. I knew I needed more than just a suspicious heart rate graph. I needed something undeniable, something she couldn't talk her way out of. So I played dumb. When the alarm went off, I acted like everything was normal. I made coffee. I asked her how the dinner went.
Oh, same old, same old. Steve from corporate was there, droning on for hours. It was so boring, I almost fell asleep in my soup.
She said it so easily, so casually. Her heart rate, I thought, must be a steady 70 BPM right now. The woman was a professional. She left for work, kissing me on the cheek like any other day. The moment the front door clicked shut, I went into overdrive. I felt like a character in a spy movie, only the stakes weren't national security. They were my entire life. I started with the iPad. I went back into the health app and began looking at the historical data. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was a pattern. Every Tuesday and Thursday for the last 2 months. A late night at the office. A team-building event. And every single time, a logged workout between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., always with the GPS pin dropped on that same house on Oak Creek Lane. My hands were shaking. 2 months. She'd been lying to my face, sleeping in my bed, for 2 months. Next, I went for our phone records. We were on a family plan, and I could access the logs online. I found her call history. On the nights of her workouts, there were always a flurry of texts to and from the same number, a number I didn't recognize. I saved it. The final frontier was her laptop. This felt like the biggest violation of privacy, but I was past the point of caring about etiquette. I was a man fighting for the truth of his own reality. I opened her MacBook, and thankfully, my fingerprint was still registered to log in. I didn't even know where to start. I checked her emails. Nothing. Her iMessages were synced with her phone, so I saw the same texts to the mystery number, but they were just logistical things. On my way. Stuck in traffic. See you soon. No name. No incriminating details. I was about to give up when I saw the icon for Facebook Messenger. We barely used it. We were more of an Instagram couple. I clicked it. And there it was. A conversation thread with a man named, let's call him Kevin. His profile picture showed a generic-looking guy in his 40s, smiling on a golf course. I started scrolling up, and it was all there. The flirting, the planning, the little inside jokes, the "I can't wait to see you" messages. And then, the pictures. Pictures of them at a bar I didn't recognize, a selfie in a car, a picture of his hand on her leg under a table. I felt a wave of nausea so intense I had to grip the edge of the desk. This wasn't just physical. This was an entire secret life, a whole other relationship she was nurturing in the shadows while I was at home, warming up her side of the bed. I sat there for what felt like an hour, just staring at the screen, my world shrinking to the size of that chat window. I had everything I needed. The location data, the heart rate spikes, the texts, the photos, the name. The full, disgusting, heartbreaking picture. Now, what the hell was I supposed to do with it? My first impulse was pure, white-hot rage. I wanted to smash things. I wanted to call her and scream until my throat was raw. But I knew that rage was a fire that would just burn me. I needed a plan. I needed to talk to someone. I picked up my phone and called the only person I knew would understand. My best friend, Will.
Hey man, what's up? You sound weird.
My voice was hoarse. I could barely get the words out. Will, I need you. Can you come over? Something's happened.
Yeah, of course. Is everything okay? Are you hurt?
No, I mean, yes, just get here. Will was at my door in 20 minutes. I let him in, and I didn't even have to say anything. He saw the look on my face, the shattered expression, and his demeanor changed instantly from casual to serious.
Whoa, Mark, talk to me. What the hell's going on?
I led him to the study and pointed at the laptop screen, still open to the messenger chat. He leaned over, read a few lines, and then slowly straightened up, a dark look clouding his face.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me, Arya?
I just nodded, slumping into the chair. I walked him through everything. The iPad notification, the heart rate graph, the address on Google Maps, the phone records, the messages. I laid out all the digital breadcrumbs that led to the death of my marriage. When I was done, I felt empty, hollowed out. Will was quiet for a long time, pacing back and forth in the small room. He was a thinker, not an impulsive reactor, which is why I'd called him.
Okay, so this is definitive. There's no wiggling out of this for her. The question is, what do you want to do?
I don't know, man. I want to rewind time. I want this to be a nightmare I can wake up from, but I can't. So what's left? I confront her?
You have to. But not like this. Not angry. You need to be cold, clinical. You have the data, Mark. You have the facts. You can't let her turn this around on you, make it about you snooping. This is about her actions.
He was right. Emotion was her weapon. She could manipulate my anger, my sadness, but she couldn't argue with a GPS coordinate and a timestamp.
Here's what you do. You wait for her to come home. You sit her down. You don't yell. You just present the evidence. You lay it out piece by piece. You be the lawyer in the courtroom of your own marriage, and you watch her reaction.
A lawyer. It sounded so cold, so detached. But maybe that's what I needed to be. I couldn't be a husband right now. The man she married was being systematically murdered by every new piece of evidence I uncovered. The next part of this story is where things get truly insane. Preparing for that conversation was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So, if you're not subscribed, now's the time. You don't want to miss how this confrontation went down. It was explosive. The rest of the day was a blur of anxiety. I felt like a soldier waiting for a battle I knew was coming. A battle I wasn't sure I could survive. Will stayed with me for a few hours, helping me get my thoughts in order, before leaving me to face the music alone. I took his advice. I prepared. I took screenshots of everything. The heart rate graph, the map with the pinned location, the call logs, the messenger conversations. I printed them out. Physical copies. Things she couldn't just delete or close. I laid them out on the dining room table, face down, like a series of exhibits in a trial. Exhibit A, B, C. The house was silent again, but this time it was a heavy, expectant silence. Every creak of the floorboards, every hum of the AC sounded like a countdown timer. At 6:30 p.m., I heard her car pull into the driveway. My heart hammered against my ribs. My palms were slick with sweat. I took a deep breath, walked to the dining room, and sat down at the head of the table. The door opened.
Hey, honey, I'm home. Rough day. I think I'm just gonna order a pizza. I'm exhausted.
She walked into the dining room, mid-sentence, and stopped dead. She saw me sitting there. She saw the papers arranged on the table. Her casual, breezy demeanor vanished, replaced by a flicker of confusion, then caution.
What's all this? Are you okay?
I didn't answer right away. I just looked at her. Really looked at her. I tried to see the woman I'd married, the woman I'd loved for 8 years. But all I could see was a stranger. Sit down, Arya. My voice was calm. Too calm. It unnerved her. She slowly pulled out a chair and sat down opposite me. Her eyes darted around, trying to get a read on the situation.
Mark, you're scaring me. What's going on?
I reached out and flipped over the first piece of paper. It was the screenshot of her health app data. The graph. The spike to 142 BPM. Last night, you told me you were at a boring work dinner, but your fitness watch tells a different story. It says you were doing high-intensity cardio for over 30 minutes. Can you explain that to me? Her face went pale. I watched her mind work, desperately trying to formulate a lie that would fit the facts.
My watch. It must be broken. It does that sometimes. It glitches. You know how technology is. That's crazy.
I said nothing. I just slid the second paper across the table. The screenshot of the map. The pin dropped on the house on Oak Creek Lane. The glitch also tracked your location, apparently. To this house. I don't recognize the address. It's not your office. It's not the restaurant. Where is that, Arya? Her composure started to crack. A hint of panic flashed in her eyes. She switched tactics, from denial to offense.
You were looking through my health data? What the hell, Mark? That's a complete invasion of my privacy. Why were you snooping on me?
There it was. The gaslighting. Just as Will predicted. I refused to take the bait. We're not talking about my actions right now. We're talking about yours. Where were you? She crossed her arms, her jaw tight.
I went to my friend Jessica's house after dinner. We had some wine. Maybe we danced around the living room. I don't know. It's not a crime to have fun.
Jessica. A good lie. Plausible. Except I was prepared. I slid the third set of papers over. The phone records. That's funny, because according to these, you weren't texting Jessica last night. You were texting this number. The same number you text every Tuesday and Thursday night. Who is this? She stared at the number, and for the first time, she had no answer. She was trapped. Her eyes filled with tears, but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of frustration, tears of being caught.
This is insane. You've been spying on me, building some crazy conspiracy theory. This is our marriage, Mark, not a police interrogation.
Our marriage? I finally let a sliver of my rage show. My voice was low, dangerous. Let's talk about our marriage. I flipped over the last stack of papers. The printouts from Facebook Messenger. The pictures of her and Kevin, his hand on her leg, their smiling faces. I didn't have to say a word. She looked at the photos and the fight just drained out of her. Her face crumpled. The anger, the defensiveness, it all melted away, leaving behind a raw, ugly truth. She covered her face with her hands and let out a sob. A real one this time. The silence in the room was absolute, broken only by her quiet, shuddering breaths. I finally spoke, my voice hollow. Who is he? She looked up, her face streaked with tears and mascara.
His name is Kevin. He's a client from work.
How long?
A few months. It started as a friendship. I never meant for it to happen. I swear.
Don't. Don't you dare say you didn't mean for it to happen. You made 1,000 small decisions that led us to this table. You chose to lie. You chose to text him. You chose to drive to his house on Oak Creek Lane every Tuesday and Thursday. These weren't accidents. They were choices. She just cried, offering no defense.
I'm so sorry, Mark. Please, we can fix this. I'll end it. I'll do anything. Please don't leave me.
I looked at the woman crying in front of me, begging me to fix the mess she had made, and I felt nothing. The love, the warmth, the connection we'd shared for 8 years had been scoured out of me by the cold, hard data. It was all gone. All that was left was a vast, empty space. I think you should pack a bag, I said, my voice flat, and go stay at Jessica's. For real this time. The look on her face was one of pure shock. I don't think she believed I'd actually do it. I think she thought her tears could fix anything.
Mark, no, please, let's just talk.
There's nothing left to talk about. You've said everything you needed to say on Facebook Messenger. Now get your things and go. She stared at me for a long moment, searching for a crack in my resolve. She found none. Defeated, she pushed her chair back, stood up, and walked upstairs without another word. I sat at that table surrounded by the wreckage of my marriage, printed out in black and white. I listened to her footsteps upstairs, the sound of drawers opening and closing. 20 minutes later, she came down, carrying a small suitcase. She paused at the door.
I do love you, Mark.
"You have a funny way of showing it," I said, without looking at her. And then she was gone. The door clicked shut, and I was alone. Truly alone. The silence that followed was the loudest thing I have ever heard. The days that followed Arya leaving were a strange soup of numbness and excruciating pain. The house felt enormous, haunted by the ghost of the life we were supposed to have. Every object held a memory: the coffee mugs we bought on our honeymoon, the stupid throw pillow she insisted on buying. Her scent lingered on the pillows. I was a wreck. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I just wandered the empty rooms, replaying the confrontation, rereading the messages, torturing myself with the details. I called my dad, Chris. He's an old school guy, a man of few words, but he has a way of cutting through the bull. I told him everything. He listened patiently, without interrupting.
Son, there's nothing I can say that will make the pain go away. It's going to hurt like hell for a while. But let me tell you one thing. A person's character isn't defined by the mistakes they make, but by how they act when they're caught. She didn't confess. She lied until she couldn't lie anymore. Remember that.
His words stuck with me. He was right. It wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated long-term deception. The apology only came when the proof was on the table. Will checked in on me every day. He'd bring over pizza and beer and just sit with me while I stared at the wall, letting me talk or not talk. He was a lifeline.
You know, it's okay to be angry, man. It's okay to be sad. Don't try to bottle this up. You gotta feel it to get through it.
And I did feel it. I felt the anger. I wanted to know more about this Kevin. I looked him up online, found out he was married, with kids. The discovery made me sick. This wasn't just my life she had helped detonate. It was a whole other family, too. The selfishness of it was staggering. After about a week of wallowing, something shifted. I woke up one morning and the first thing I felt wasn't overwhelming sadness, but a flicker of something else. Resolve. I realized I had a choice. I could let this destroy me, let it turn me into a bitter, untrusting person. Or I could use this as the most painful, brutal catalyst for change in my entire life. I started small. I packed up all of Arya's things into boxes and put them in the garage. Out of sight, out of mind. I changed the sheets on the bed. I went for a run, my own heart rate spiking, but this time it was for me. It was my workout, my sweat, my pain being processed and pushed out. Arya tried to reach out, of course. Texts, voicemails.
Mark, please just talk to me. I've ended it with him. Completely. I want to come home. We can go to therapy. We can fix this.
A month ago, those words would have been everything I wanted to hear. But now, they just sounded hollow. Trust, once shattered, doesn't just glue back together. The cracks are always there. And I knew deep down, I would never be able to look at her again without seeing that heart rate graph, that pin on the map. I'd spend the rest of my life wondering, checking, questioning. That isn't a marriage, it's a prison sentence. I met her one last time, at a neutral coffee shop. She looked tired and sad. I felt a pang of pity, but it was overshadowed by a profound sense of finality. I told her my decision. I can't, Arya. I can't go back. You didn't just break my trust, you fundamentally changed my perception of the reality we lived in. I need to move on, and you do too.
So that's it? 8 years and you're just throwing it away?
I didn't throw it away, Arya. You did. You just didn't tell me until a fitness tracker did it for you. That was the last time we spoke. The lawyers are handling everything now. So, here I am, in a new apartment. It's smaller than the house, less full of memories. It's a blank slate. Some days are still hard. I'll hear a song we both liked or see a couple holding hands and it hits me all over again. The healing process isn't linear, it's messy. But I'm getting there. I'm reconnecting with friends, focusing on my work and rediscovering who I am without her. It's strange. The same technology that tore my world apart is also what set me free. Without that little notification, that graph, that GPS dot, I could have spent years living a lie, being a supporting character in a story where I thought I was the lead. The truth was brutal, but it was the truth. And in the long run, the truth is always better than a comfortable lie. This journey has been hell, but sharing it, putting it out there, it helps. It makes it feel real, but also manageable. If you've been through something similar, if you've had to rebuild your life from the ground up after a betrayal, I genuinely appreciate hearing any advice you have in the comments. We're all just trying to figure this stuff out. Thanks for listening to my story. And hey, maybe check your health app settings. You never know what you might find.